3 summers ago, I was standing in the garden center holding a bottle of fungicide spray, $18 for 12 ounces. My squash had powdery mildew again, and my roses had black spot again, and I had come in, same as every other July, to buy the same solution to the same problem. Before I put it in my cart, I turned the bottle over and read the ingredients label, the way I always do because I like to know what I am putting on my plants. Sodium bicarbonate, listed right there as the active ingredient. I stood in that aisle for a moment because I knew exactly what sodium bicarbonate was. I had a box of it in my kitchen, the orange Arm & Hammer box, less than $1 at the grocery store. I put the $18 bottle back on the shelf. I drove home, pulled out my old gardening reference books and the notes my mother kept from her 40 years of gardening, and I spent an afternoon looking up every use of plain baking soda I could find. What I discovered that afternoon changed the way I have shopped for my garden ever since. Not because baking soda solves everything, it does not, and I will tell you exactly where it falls short, but because it does solve several very expensive gardening problems for almost nothing, and not a single sign at the garden center was ever going to point me toward that box in my own pantry. Today we are going through 9 practical ways to put baking soda to work in your garden. Fungal disease, pests, your soil, your tools, your compost, and yes, even your tomatoes. I tested every one of these in my own beds. I will tell you exactly what to mix, how to apply it, and where the limits are, because knowing when something does not work is just as important as knowing when it does. If you are new here, welcome to the Gardening Grandma. Hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a video. I post every single week with honest, practical gardening advice. No products to sell you, no fluff, just real knowledge from someone who made every one of these mistakes herself. Now, let us get into your baking soda. Tip 1. Prevent and control fungal diseases. Powdery mildew, black spot, early blight, late blight. If you have grown tomatoes, roses, squash, or cucumbers, you have dealt with at least one of these. Baking soda works as what is called a fungistatic agent. It stops fungal spores from germinating and spreading. Fungal spores need slightly acidic to neutral conditions on the leaf surface to take hold. When you spray baking soda solution onto your plants, it raises the pH of that surface and creates an alkaline environment where those spores cannot get started. Here is the formula. Into a clean 1-gallon sprayer, add 1 tablespoon of plain baking soda, 1 tablespoon of horticultural oil or neem oil, and a few drops of liquid dish soap or Castile soap. Fill the rest with clean water and mix gently. The soap and oil are not optional. They are surfactants. They break the surface tension so the solution clings to the leaf instead of beating off like water. Without them, the baking soda rinses away before it can do anything. Spray the entire plant, top and bottom of every leaf. The underside is where fungal spores are most active, and most gardeners miss it completely. Do this in early morning or late afternoon, never in the midday heat, because wet leaves under strong sun can scorch. Repeat every 7 to 14 days and reapply after any heavy rain. For powdery mildew specifically, the moment you see that first white dusty patch on your squash or zucchini is the moment to spray. Early treatment is everything. Tip 2. Deter slugs, ants, and aphids. Slugs are soft-bodied creatures that depend completely on moisture to function. Baking soda is hygroscopic. It pulls moisture aggressively out of whatever it contacts. Sprinkle dry baking soda directly on a slug, and it desiccates quickly. You can also create a protective barrier ring of dry baking soda around individual plants. When slugs try to cross that ring at night, they are stopped cold. Reapply after any rain or irrigation. For ants, mix equal parts baking soda and powdered sugar. The sugar draws them in, and they carry the mixture back to the colony. When they ingest the baking soda, it reacts with the acid in their digestive systems, and the gas produced is fatal to them. Place the mixture in small dry containers like upturned bottle caps wherever you see ant trails. Keep it dry and replace it every few days. For aphids and spider mites, the same spray formula from tip 1 doubles as your solution. Mix 1 tablespoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of Castile soap into 1 quart of water and spray directly onto the affected growth, concentrating on the undersides of leaves. The alkaline solution disrupts their body chemistry and the soap suffocates them. My rule with any baking soda spray is always the same. Test on 2 or 3 leaves first. Wait 24 hours. If the leaves look healthy, treat the whole plant. Some plants are more sensitive to sodium than others, and a quick test protects you from a larger problem. Tip 3. Eliminate compost bin odors. A healthy compost pile should not smell like a problem. If yours smells sharply of ammonia or sour vinegar, the pile has a chemistry problem. Too much nitrogen-rich material, food scraps, grass clippings, fresh manure, without enough carbon-rich material like dry leaves or straw, creates an acidic environment that produces those offensive gases. That same condition is what attracts fungus gnats, those tiny flies that hover in clouds around a sick compost bin. Sprinkle a small amount of baking soda over the surface of the pile to neutralize the acidic conditions and reduce the odor. When the smell drops, the gnat population drops with it. This is not a substitute for good compost management. You still need to turn the pile and balance your greens and browns. But as an immediate fix while you work on the pile's chemistry, a light dusting is effective, cheap, and completely safe for the finished compost. Tip 4. Do a quick DIY soil pH test. Soil pH controls whether your plants can physically access the nutrients in the soil. A plant sitting in overly acidic soil cannot absorb iron, calcium, or magnesium the way it needs to, even if those nutrients are present in abundance. You can pour fertilizer into acidic soil all season and still get yellowing, stunted plants because the chemistry is not right for absorption. Here is the quick test. Dig up about 2 tablespoons of soil from 4 to 6 inches below the surface. That is where the root zone lives. Put it in a small container. Add just enough distilled water to make a slurry. Then sprinkle a good pinch of baking soda over the wet soil and watch what happens. If the mixture fizzes and bubbles, even gently, that baking soda is reacting with the hydrogen ions that indicate acidity. The stronger the fizz, the more acidic your soil. No reaction means your soil is neutral to alkaline. This is not a precise measurement, but it is a free, immediate signal that tells you whether you need to investigate further, and that is worth a lot before you spend money on amendments. Tip 5. Control weeds in hardscape areas, and only there. When sodium contacts plant tissue in concentrated form, it pulls moisture out of the cells faster than the plant can replace it, causing it to collapse and die. For weeds growing in sidewalk cracks, between patio pavers, in gravel paths, or in driveways where you want absolutely no vegetation, this is an effective and completely chemical-free solution. Wet the weeds first so the baking soda has something to stick to, then sprinkle a thick, generous layer of dry baking soda directly onto the leaves and around the base. Do this on a dry day when rain is not expected for at least 48 hours. You will typically see wilting and browning within 24 hours. I need to give you the critical warning here clearly. Baking soda is non-selective. It does not know the difference between a weed and a plant you love, and the sodium it deposits can linger and build up in the soil over time. Do not use this method in your garden beds, near the plants you are growing, or on your lawn. Reserve it strictly for hardscape areas where you want zero plant life. Used that way, it is safe and free. Used carelessly, it will damage soil you worked hard to build. Tip 6. Boost blooms on alkaline-loving plants and shift hydrangea color. Begonias, geraniums, and lilacs all prefer slightly alkaline conditions and will bloom more vigorously when the soil pH tilts above neutral. A mild baking soda solution used as an occasional soil drench can make a meaningful difference for these plants. Dissolve 1 teaspoon of baking soda in 2 quarts of water and water your plants with this solution every few weeks during the growing season, not every time, just as a periodic treatment. For big leaf hydrangeas, the mophead and lacecap types like Endless Summer, the color chemistry is worth understanding. The blue color in those flowers comes from aluminum that is more readily available in acidic soil. When you raise the soil pH with baking soda, you reduce that aluminum availability, and the flowers shift from blue toward pink and mauve tones. This is real plant chemistry, not a garden myth. If yours keep coming out blue when you want pink, your soil is likely too acidic. Work gradually with small repeated applications over the growing season. Never try to force a dramatic change quickly. Before tip 7, I want to hear from you right now. Drop your state or your growing zone in the comments and tell me which of these tips you are going to try first. Because the timing and the conditions are different depending on where you garden, and your answers help me understand who I am actually talking to every week. I read every single one. Now, tip 7, and this is the one that changed how I care for my indoor plants entirely. Tip 7. Clean plant leaves to improve photosynthesis. Over time, dust accumulates on plant leaves. Outdoor plants collect pollen and fine particulate matter from the air. Indoor plants collect household dust at a remarkable rate. That invisible layer blocks sunlight from reaching the cells where photosynthesis happens. Less light means less energy, which means slower growth and fewer blooms. It also clogs the stomata, the microscopic pores on the leaf surface through which the plant breathes and regulates moisture. A plant working through dirty leaves is working harder for every biological process it runs. Mix 1 teaspoon of baking soda into 1 quart of clean water. Take a soft cloth, microfiber works beautifully. Dip it in the solution and wipe down each leaf gently on the top and the bottom, supporting the leaf with your hand underneath so you are not stressing the stem. You will see the grime coming off on the cloth immediately. Here is the step most people skip, and it genuinely matters. After wiping with the baking soda solution, go back with a second clean cloth, dampened with plain water, and wipe each leaf again to rinse off any residual sodium. If you skip that rinse, sodium builds up on the leaf surface over time and causes those brown crispy edges on the margins that most gardeners blame on watering when the real culprit is something they put on the plant themselves. Do this every few weeks for indoor plants and once or twice a season for container plants outdoors. Tip 8. The tomato sweetening method, with honest expectations. I am going to be straightforward with you on this one because the science is debated, and I would rather tell you the truth than oversell a tip. The practice is this: sprinkling a very small amount of baking soda on the soil surface around the base of your tomato plants, not on the plant itself, just on the soil, may gently reduce the soil's acidity enough that the fruit tastes noticeably less tart and more sweet. Many experienced home gardeners report exactly this result. Formal horticultural research has not conclusively proven the mechanism. Here is my honest position after testing this myself. Tomato flavor is influenced by variety, sun exposure, watering consistency, soil nutrition, and temperature swings. Soil pH is one variable among many. If your soil is on the acidic side, which many vegetable garden soils are, a very gentle nudge upward with baking soda will not hurt anything as long as you use it with restraint. We are talking about a 1/4 teaspoon worked lightly into the top inch of soil around each plant, 2 or 3 times during the season at most. Too much sodium in tomato soil blocks calcium and magnesium uptake and causes blossom end rot, that devastating flat black scar on the bottom of the fruit. Monitor your plants closely. If you see yellowing between the leaf veins or blossom end rot developing on the fruit, stop immediately and flush the soil thoroughly with clean water. Treat this as an experiment worth trying, not a protocol to follow blindly. And grow a variety with outstanding flavor genetics to begin with, because no soil amendment in the world makes a mediocre tomato variety taste like a great one. Tip 9. Clean and restore your garden tools. Good garden tools are not cheap, and neglected ones rust and eventually have to be replaced. Baking soda is a mild abrasive and an alkaline compound that makes it one of the most effective and gentlest cleaning agents you can use on tools, patio furniture, bird baths, and clay pots. For bird baths, patio furniture, and terracotta containers, dampen a cloth, sprinkle baking soda directly on it, and scrub. The mild grit lifts algae stains, bird droppings, hard water deposits, and grime from plastic, resin, metal, and terracotta without scratching. Rinse clean with water when done. Your bird bath will look cleaner than it has in years, and you did not put a single synthetic chemical near the birds and wildlife that visit it. For rusted tools, trowels, pruners, hoe blades, mix baking soda with just enough water to make a paste about the thickness of toothpaste. Apply a generous coat to the rusted areas, let it sit 30 to 60 minutes, then scrub with a stiff brush or crumpled aluminum foil. After cleaning, dry the tool completely and apply a thin coat of mineral oil or even cooking oil to protect the metal from rusting again. A garden tool cleaned and oiled at the end of each season lasts decades. One neglected is trash in 3 years. Before I leave you, one important warning. Baking soda is sodium, and sodium builds up in soil with repeated use. Used heavily over months and years in the same beds, it can make soil inhospitable by blocking potassium, calcium, and magnesium uptake in your plants. Use baking soda solutions on your garden beds periodically, not as a constant habit. If you are in a dry climate where sodium does not flush naturally with rainfall, give treated beds a thorough deep watering once a season to move accumulated sodium down through the soil profile and away from the root zone. So there you have them, my dear. 9 ways to put that box of baking soda to work in your garden. Spray a baking soda, oil, and soap solution to prevent and manage fungal diseases like powdery mildew and black spot. Use dry baking soda to stop slugs, the sugar and baking soda mixture for ants, and the spray formula for aphids and spider mites. Sprinkle it lightly on a smelly compost pile to neutralize odors. Use the fizz test to get a quick read on your soil's acidity before you decide how to amend it. Apply dry baking soda directly on weeds in pavers and cracks, and only there, never in your garden beds. Use a baking soda soil drench periodically to boost alkaline-loving plants and shift your big leaf hydrangeas toward pink. Wipe down plant leaves with the diluted solution to clear dust and improve photosynthesis, and always follow with a plain water rinse. Try the 1/4 teaspoon soil application around tomatoes with careful monitoring and very light hands. And clean your garden tools, bird baths, and terracotta with baking soda paste so they last as long as you do. Just remember to use it with restraint because sodium accumulates. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 9 tips are you trying first, and which one surprised you most? Drop it in the comments along with your state or zone. I read every single one. If this video helped you, share it with one person you know who is still buying expensive garden sprays every summer for problems this box can solve. If you are not subscribed yet, now is the time. I post every single week, and I do not waste your time. Until then, happy gardening. Take care of yourselves, and take care of those beautiful gardens of yours.